Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I am TJ, and I'm here with my brother Tim. We do not care, Harris, and we are the Yinzer Bros. Today is the Steelers Cowboys preview. It's an exciting day for us, getting to play the mighty, terrible Cowboys. The Steelers battle the Cowboys in Dallas this Sunday at 4:25. Should be a great game for the Steelers because, let's face it, the Cowboys stink. They're terrible.
Dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire.
They are a dumpster fire. I don't know what's going on down there. They've got a revolving door with QBs. They're so bad, even a seasoned Pittsburgh guy, their coach, can't help them. They're that bad.
He's a terrible coach, TJ. I guess I thought he was an okay coach, and then you watch him down there, and you're like, how good was Aaron Rodgers to make this putz look even remotely like coherent? I mean, they're bad. They're bad.
Aaron Rodgers, you forget about that. I mean, usually they were talking about firing him every year, and then somehow Green Bay would make this incredible run to get in the playoffs, and he'd limp along for another year.
But here's the thing, like, can you ever imagine saying Jason Garrett? You probably beg for Jason Garrett back compared to this dude right now.
Yeah, Garrett was a stud compared to this guy. The Cowboys, they're bad. This is how bad they are. We know that early on they had a great offense with Dak. Since then, their offense has dropped. They're ranked 20th in the league. Steelers are 5th. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to defense, the Dallas Cowboys are dead last. They're the worst in team defense, which is good news for the Steelers. They're really bad.
Here's the thing I don't understand about Dallas' defense. They have players, and they still stink. I just don't. I don't know.
They're players. I don't know if they're playing as a team or not. I mean, just last week the Eagles beat them 23-9, and the Eagles, beat them by that margin, and they still the Eagles turned the ball over 4 times.
TJ, they had Uncle Rico playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
He was terrible.
I mean, that dude. I feel embarrassed to even say he has Pittsburgh blood running through his veins. That dude stunk.
He did.
I should have known better to say anything nice about Danucci because I know he's a Pittsburgh kid, but to know you got beaten out by Nathan Peterman, that's why you left Pitt.
Peterman's bad.
It's a bad sign.
It is
bad sign.
And only God knows who's going to be their quarterback this week. I mean, they still haven't decided. I don't think yet.
I got 4 plays.
You'd probably do better. I mean, they got the one kid that they dropped. He was their backup. As soon as Dalton was available, they dropped him. $8 to $2 million. They brought him back, and they brought this other kid back. I think he's undrafted. I think he was I don't know where he came from. Was he an XFL guy, an AFL guy? I don't know what he was.
Like, if you're Dallas, why don't you just take a swirl and go pick up Duck off the Steelers practice squad? At least you can get some pointers of the Steelers defense. That tells you how stupid their coaching staff is.
You're right. It's bad. So what are your overall feelings about this game, Tim?
That being said, I've been back and forth in my gut this whole entire week. Reason being, there's a Tomlin special happening. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point here. And
now Tim, tell everybody.
Last 3 weeks.
Everybody that doesn't know what a Tomlin special is, tell everybody what a Tomlin special is.
Everybody in Pittsburgh, if you're a true Steeler fan and you live in the city of Pittsburgh, you know what a Tomlin special is. But for the people that don't, a Tomlin special is a loss every year that you sit back and after the game, you're staring at a blank wall for about 2.5 hours thinking, how on God's creation did this happen? Like, I kid you not. I think this was, I don't know how many years ago it was, when Terrell Pryor, he wasn't even a quarterback. He was a receiver. Oakland was so banged up, they put him at quarterback. I think it was his first start ever, and he beat the Steelers. I sat there and I stared at my wall for about 3 hours. I think Pryor threw 5 passes the whole game.
Oh,
you go, how does that happen? I've seen Mike Glennon beat the Steelers twice. I was there in person when I saw Mike Glennon beat the Steelers in Chicago Stadium. I almost fought everybody in the city of Chicago when I left that stadium. That tells you that's the Mike Tomlin special. It happens. It's going to happen in one of these 3 games. Last night I would have put my mortgage on it. This was going to be the Mike Tomlin special, but today kind of left it off. So I don't know. I'm still 50-50. I don't know. We'll figure it out by the end of this podcast.
Tim, you live in your fears. I don't think it'll be extraordinary for the Steelers to lose this game. Absolutely extraordinary. So I think you're okay. I think this is a good game for them because I don't see any way that they're going to be able to.
Glennon. And guess what? The Bears didn't have Ezekiel Elliott, and the rest of that offense, Mike Glennon.
Hey, there's a chance Ezekiel Elliott may not be. He's got a bad hammy. Who knows how long you're going to see him? And if there's no threat of a pass, how effective will Zeke be? By the way, just so you know, this year is his lowest average ever. You know why? If all you have to worry about is Ezekiel Elliott, you stop him. I mean, it's just the way that it is.
I've heard this song. I've heard this song and dance before.
You have. I get it. So you don't have warm, fuzzy feelings. I'm taking the opposite approach. I think this is going to be a great game for the Steelers. I think it'll be good for the offense. They'll get in rhythm against a terrible defense. And then I think we're going to be okay on the other side of the ball as well. Even though we're a little banged up, I think this is a great team to play when you're banged up. They are leaderless. I think there's no passion in their play. They've got nothing. I mean, you could say, hey, this is their Super Bowl. I don't think it is. I think they're in survival mode right now. And I think you're going to see a lot of guys that are just going to kind of mail it in this week. Not for the Steelers, but for them.
I don't know, man. I just have mental visions of that white linebacker they have with like the neck roll somehow hitting him and him going out. So I got this vision. I got this mental picture that just stuck in my head. I'm going.
Yeah, you live in your fears. Well, we'll talk. We'll break down the rest of the game in a little bit. But before we get to our keys to the game, let's take a quick look in the Yinzer mailbag. The Yinzer mailbag has been getting filled up, which is actually really good. What is the Yinzer mailbag, you may ask? It's when you, the fans, get to ask us any question you want. The Yinzer Bros, anything you like about the Steelers, about the podcast, anything. We're here for you, the fans. If you got any questions, you can send your questions to yinzerbros@gmail.com. Again, that's yinzerbros@gmail.com. First, we have our first Yinzer mailbag entry from your buddy Mark. He seems to really like sending us stuff, which is good. Mm-hmm. He said, what are the top Steeler rivals? This is his list. Fifth on the list is the Cowboys. Fourth, the old Oilers. That's basically would be what the Texans are now. Or excuse me. Yeah, no, that'd be the Texans, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Texans. Third would be the Raiders.
No. It would be the Tennessee Titans.
It'd be the Titans. That's right. It'd be the Titans. Third would be the Raiders, they said. I don't know about that. We'll see. Second, the Brady area Patriots. We don't like the Patriots. Mm-mm. And then fourth, the Browns/New Ravens. Again, I think you separate the Browns and the Ravens now. So to me, that's, I think if you were to pick who do you think right now is in your one or two for rivalries for the Steelers?
Oh, number one's it's the Ravens.
It is.
And it's not even a thought. Number two, I mean, in years past, of course you would say the Patriots. I mean, there's no doubt. But I mean, now, I'd say, the Browns past couple of years have been pretty heated. Ever since Mason took a helmet to his face, it's been pretty heated. But then again, truthfully, you don't probably 3-4 years back, people can argue that Bengals were, when Burfict was there, that murder.
I still think he's the reason why Antonio Brown's a little goofy.
Yeah. I also do too. It's a difference if you're talking now, you're talking all time. All time. Now the Ravens are one. I would probably put the Browns as two.
Are the Cowboys even in a rivalry conversation anymore? I don't think they are.
No,
Man, it was the 70s.
It was the
Think about it, that was 40 years ago.
I agree. I mean, I agree. They don't play.
Actually,
They don't play.
that's 50 years ago.
Yeah, I know that hat that I wear every week. My head feels like it tells it's 50 years old. Yeah, I mean they were meeting the Super Bowl. I mean they were the team of the 70s. So I mean how often do you play the Cowboys? Like once every 8 years?
Maybe.
No, unless you meet in the Super Bowl. I mean, I guess the only thing, I mean, people kind of, and I saw a great video of, if everybody's ever seen that video of when they talk about America's team and how the Steelers were originally supposed to be America's team, and the Rooney brothers or old man Rooney said no. But when Wanstead tells it, it's like hearing it from a Muppet's voice. Like it's incredible. Like if any Yinzer in the world, him telling that story makes it 50 times better.
That's awesome. Wanstead, can't figure him out either. You talking about bad coaches? Can't figure him out either. Yikes. Yeah, I'm with you. I still think I was listening today to Brian Billick. Mm-hmm. Was it Brian? Yeah, and he was talking about they asked him about rivalries in football, and he said by far the Steelers Ravens is the most brutal one that's around. He said today, right now, he said there's no more physical rivalry in football than those two. I said, okay.
I mean, to me, it has to be. I mean, what I would say for a short period of time, I think the Niners Seahawks got pretty, when they were kind of at their peak of, physicality type of deal. But I mean, Ravens Steelers, it's usually a bloodbath.
Here's another question. How many more throws does Ben have in him this year? Do you have any fears that he may be
I'm sick of getting this question. I'm sick of getting this question about Ben's arm. Seems like every week, how many more? He's fine. He better be fine. Again, all I got visions of that guy with the neck brace from Dallas.
See, don't even talk like that. Why are you even talking like that? I don't even know why you're talking like that.
You're right.
Ben will be fine. Ben will be fine.
Ben will be
fine.
He
will be. Tim, have you acquired your Spillane jersey yet?
I mean, I don't want to lie to the people. I have actually looked on the Steeler website. They don't have them. Like I'd have to get it custom. I don't know if I could spend the money. For what? This dude, I'm going to call this now. Mr. Spillane will not be in the starting lineup come December. Mark my
You
word.
don't think so, huh?
No.
You think he'll be hurt, or you think
the guy they got from the Jets will be starting by December?
Well, I think when you talk about the rotation, you need more than one guy.
The guy from the Jets will be starting the majority of the snaps, and Mr. Spillane will go back to his special teams role.
We'll see. I don't see. I tell you what, I think it's his position to lose right now. He's ringing the bell.
It's either that or he's going to be brain dead in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because every time I see him, he's hitting somebody with his.
He is. He's the Rocky Balboa of the Steelers right now.
He is.
Which you gotta love that. So I think if Spillane keeps on track, they will be putting his jersey into production. And I'm going to make a prediction before the end of the year. If it goes into production, Tim Mateo will have a jersey. He'll have a 41.
That'd be a tough sell to my wife, saying you spent that much money on a Patrick Spillane jersey. It'd be a tough sell.
What if his stock continues to rise? How could you live without a jersey?
Seeing my daughter in a Spillane jersey would be spectacular.
I think it's going to happen. That's great. How about this one? It says, talk about the acquisition of Avery Willamson. Oh, by the way, we picked him up last week between the podcast stuff. And by the way, my call, this guy,
you are a wizard. It's incredible.
He was too cheap. I knew you were going to get him cheap. I think it's going to cost us maybe, $1.50 on the salary cap, maybe. Yeah. So what's your take on Mr. Avery?
Again, he came from the Jets, and it's tough for me to get anybody stink washed off them for the Jets. But I'll tell you what made me extremely, kind of change the tides on it. Seeing that picture he put out where he was hitchhiking on the corner, picking up the cab in the full Jets uniform, we're like, I like this dude, man. He's pretty funny, man. And then when I saw his picture, he had a picture of him, I think, coming into Pittsburgh, and he had a pair of Crocs on. I was like, I really like this guy.
He was standing in front of the Franco statue at the airport. Yeah. What's there not to like about that?
We'll see. I mean, let's see how talk about going from the outhouse to the penthouse You know,
0-8 to 7-0. And I saw a stat or something. They said nobody in a trade has taken a greater swing than that.
I mean,
He moved up 15 spots, 0-8 to 7-0.
well, what possessed him to sign with the Jets in the first place?
The money. So you know where he started, and this gives me a little bit of hope.
He started in Tennessee.
He's a Titan. In fact, I saw some stuff that Coach Tomlin, my coach, by the way, Coach Tomlin said one of the reasons they were actually eyeballing him, they were looking at drafting him before. And I guess I didn't know this. Tennessee runs a very similar defensive scheme that we do, and they also have basically similar calls. So he's familiar with the defense already.
Well, he was down there when what do I call him? Not the Emperor, not the Dick LeBeau. I mean, he's the Godfather almost. You know, I think he was the defensive guy down there when he was there.
By the way, you know how old he is now?
Dick LeBeau?
Yeah.
He's got to be like 80.
He's 80 years old.
And for 80 years old, that dude looks wonderful. He does.
What do you think you're going to look like at 80, Tim?
I'm not going to be alive. As we predicted last podcast, I got about 20 to 25 good ones in me.
That puts you in the 65 range.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a good addition to us. I think it also speaks to something's going on with Gilbert. He can't stay healthy.
I think they're sick of him.
Back. Yeah.
The more you hear Tomlin talk about him, I think they're getting sick of him. I mean, he sounds. You know when you hear Tomlin talk about somebody in his weekly press conferences, he has that tone of the voice. It's kind of like, yeah, he's hurt, but like almost like he's not toughing it out. So it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, I think Tomlin just gets sick of waiting.
I think you're right. I mean, well, he was hurt all last year too, but didn't he like crack a vertebrae or something like that last year?
Now tough it out. Just tough it out.
I mean, I know it's not like a Tim knee or a Tim shoulder. It's just a vertebrae, but I
got to ice my body every night just to make a workout the next day. I don't want to hear that, dude.
You have to ice your body every night basically to stay home and do nothing all day, Tim.
And I don't get paid. Nothing to do that. I get paid Kit Kats and Snickers.
By the way, how's the candy holding up?
I've had to slow down. I'm actually hiding it from myself.
That's good. Slow down. We don't want you catching the diabetes a little too early, right? So, I think we both agree that the acquisition of Avery was a good move for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring this up. Do you see the Steelers needing any other moves?
Yeah, I think they need some D-line help.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Bugs hasn't played at all. I mean, hasn't played. He hasn't practiced at all this week.
Got a bad ankle.
You got Hayward a little banged up. I think he's going to play. Wormley's on the IR. You're thin, man. There's two things jump off at me, which I know. I mean, you still got Poe out there, which if you get him cheap, bring him in. What's it going to hurt? Yeah. I saw they brought in a kid I think they were looking at in the draft process a couple years ago from Florida State for a trial, but I didn't hear anything from. The one guy that intrigues the heck out of me, Tennessee Titans just cut him. He got through waivers, is Vic Beasley. Like he's an outside guy. If you can get him cheap, what would hurt bringing him in just to add to that rotation?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a proven all pro in the past. I don't think it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, because if the Steelers are getting pressure from the outside and they get a rotation and you're able to keep TJ fresh and you're able to keep Bud fresh, I don't think it's going to hurt, man. But then again, I don't know if he's a pure like 4-3 type of rusher compared to a 3-4. I don't know if he can cover anybody because you still got to in the 3-4. There's outside guys that they got to cover people every once in a while, but I don't think it would hurt for situational stuff to get guys a breather.
No, I agree. I'll tell you what, you talk about draft picks. I mean, so you got, Claypool's off, obviously a great draft pick this year. As a second rounder, people forget that we didn't have a first rounder. What about Highsmith?
He's going to be good too, man.
More I see out of him. What a great pickup he was.
He's going to be good. I mean, this draft class is one of their best. I mean, you got Dotson in this draft class too. And I think they're talking
he's
about
mauling people.
He is, and I think they're talking about who may get some time this week is the kid they drafted. I think the 6th round of defensive lineman. I can't remember, but he should see some time. And People are excited about him. So I don't know, man. To me, I think on the defensive line, unless there's something that I don't know about Wormley, they're thinking he's coming back sooner than later. You got to make a move. I would figure you got to make a move at some point, but maybe they're happy with the guys they have on the practice squad and the depth they have now. I mean, I don't know. Seeing Badeau with his long, flowing hair makes me want to throw up every time he's on the field now.
I hear you. I did see too, that I know that Marcel Darius is might be available too. He's he'd be a decent pickup in the middle too. Again, I think Poe would be I think he would be stout. He's a big guy, be stout. Again, at this point, you almost view it almost like baseball. You rent a few guys to get you what you need, and then you kind of move from there. So yeah, I don't think, I think anything else, I think we're pretty solid in all the other areas. I don't know. I think we're in a good position. I think the Steelers like what they have. It's amazing the difference a quarterback makes, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Of course it does.
Because, now we have added a few pieces like Claypool and Highsmith and these guys.
I mean, you think Mason's back? Can you imagine having Uncle Rico back there tossing the pill around?
I would have never thought. I wonder what Dallas would give us for the duck. They may be like, we need this guy.
You can play. I think you can. He's on the practice squad, so you can go. You can pluck him if you're going to put him in your active.
Well, you could protect a few on the practice squad.
They don't. I see it every year. They don't. Every week they don't protect the duck.
The duck's free.
So to me, it's like, I mean, if you're them, I've seen the duck play. I've seen Uncle Rico play. It's not even. It's like having Montana compared to that dude. I mean, I would be like, what do you got to lose? Bring him down there. Like I said, I would have brought him down this week and be like, at least tell me how the Steelers defense works a little bit. But again, that's why Mike McCarthy's a moron.
Yeah, he's not very smart.
I mean, that Uncle Rico, he stinks, man. He's bad.
He's bad. He's really bad. That just makes you wonder who we're going to see. And you guys start thinking that the poor guy that's going to be facing the Steelers defense this week.
Sucks for me. I didn't even realize until I saw Uncle Rico playing. I started Amani Cooper in my fantasy league. I'm going, it's like a halftime. He didn't have a target. I'm going, what's going on? And that's when I finally turn on the game and I go, this guy, he stinks, man. I saw him he threw a pass from an arm angle that's not even humanly possible. He looked like Kent DeColvey throwing a football. It was unreal.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out we're not going to get to see him, dang it. Hey, maybe we will. Maybe we will.
No, I don't think they're not even dressing him. That's how bad he was.
Oh, dear.
TJ, put it this way. I made this statement. At first, before me seeing Uncle Rico play football, I thought the only way Dallas would have a chance against us was Pittsburgh blood playing Pittsburgh. Somehow that it's combustible and something blows up in our face. After watching that dude play, if he was playing this week, I would pick the Steelers by 1,000,000. I put it this way. I wouldn't even play Ben. I would play helmet face and let him go against Uncle Rico if they were playing. And we should still win by 30.
Oh boy, should be a fun game. And still you live in your fears. I don't understand that, but
I don't know about these guys coming up now. I keep thinking the XFL guys that come out like Kurt Warner and start throwing a pill everywhere around the field.
That would be terrible. Well, let's hope that's not the case.
Next thing you know, we're the first team on a 30-on-30 with this guy from the XFL 10 years from now.
That would be terrible. People forget we had that kind of thing with Brady. I remember when Brady came in.
Yeah, I remember. I remember being at an AFC title game when Brady got hurt, and everybody was happy except this guy. I said, Drew Bledsoe's coming in. This ain't good. And then we lost, and I blamed it on Dad.
Blame a lot on Dad.
He wasn't very happy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that does it for the Yinzer mailbag today. Again, if you get any questions, any comments, any ideas, any endorsements, we take endorsements too. You can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. Again, that's yinzerbros@gmail.com. If you're lucky enough, we may answer and talk about your question on the show. So now let's look at the game. Let's talk about this great rivalry, the Steelers and the Cowboys. Let's talk about the offense. How do you think our offense is going to fare this week, Tim?
I mean, this is a trick question. How do I think our offense is going to fare this week?
How do you think we're gonna do this week, Tim, on offense?
TJ, if this, they should they the Steelers should have to be able to. The offense should just be able to roll the ball on the field and score 30 points. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. We should fare. We should. They should make us play with 7 people.
That would be exciting. That would be good. So, I mean, obviously we're going to come in and they're going to try to establish the run, right? Right. What are some of your keys to the offense this week?
You can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
If you want my top 3 keys, you can't turn the football over, you can't turn the football over, and you can't turn the football over.
That's true. That's true. I'm with you on that.
That's it. No, that is it. If they don't turn, if the Steelers have, if they have 3 turnovers, they'll still win. You turn the ball over more than 3 times, you're going to be sitting there in one of those, put the diapers on and put the Imodium pants on at the end of the game.
So they're going to try to run the ball. They should be able to run the ball because the Dallas defense is terrible.
TJ, Mason Rudolph should be in this game by halftime.
That would be great. Get him some work. That'd be great.
You know what? I wouldn't even do that. I protect Mason. I would just go straight to Dobbs. Put him.
You could do that. You could.
I don't think Dobbs is going to dress, but no, this is a game where I think you should get your. I'll be truthful. This is where you should get your running game going. This is where it starts, and you maul this team for 200 yards. I could see Benny Snell just mutilating this team, or even getting the rookie McFarland kind of.
That'd be nice.
This may be a game you show him so later on in the year when you're playing Baltimore in November, you're like, looky what we have. We have a poor man's Kamara on our hand, which would be great. Just this is where I think those younger guys should feast a little bit and kind of.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Ben even gets, you think he throws for more than 250 yards this game?
If I was the Steelers in their game plan, I wouldn't let Ben throw the ball more than 15 times this game.
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious. If they throw the ball more than 15 times this game, I don't even say it. I keep thinking neck roll. That's all I keep thinking, neck roll from Dallas. You protect Ben this game. That's what you do. Just run the ball.
Yeah. I think if you could do it, that's great because you control the clock, you control possessions. The more you run it, the more you have it, the less he can have it. And then again, it keeps your defense fresh too. Your defense, they should be salivating. So who is your offensive player this week to watch?
Offensive player to watch this game, for me, I'm not even say James Conner. I'm going to say Benny Snell.
Benny Snell. Mm-hmm. Stepping out. That's good. I like that.
No, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to change that. It's not going to be Benny Snell. I think McFarland's going to break a run or 2 this game, the rookie McFarland.
I like that. Tim stepping out of his fears. I like that. That's really good. I think this week, I think you're going to see Deontay Johnson's going to have a big game. And I also think because his speed, I don't think they can match his speed. And I think also this week, Benny Snell.
I mean, I could see it.
Tomlin mentioned Benny Snell.
He did.
By name. And I think there's some intention there where they're going to get him the ball. Mm-hmm. I think the goal is to give, perhaps this will be a breather for Connor. He'll get the rock. They'll establish what they need to. But, I don't think there's a lot of fear involved in that. So that's good. So I think the offense will do well. Let's talk about the defense now. What are your keys for the defense for the Steelers this week?
Do not let Dallas have any thought in their mind that they can compete in this game. None. From the get-go. Don't. Whoever's playing quarterback for their team, I better see within the first drive his eyes the size of moon balls. That's what you better see. You better see Bud and TJ just inhale. Their line stinks. They got nobody on their line anymore. They better just inhale that quarterback. I don't think you got to stop the run. I mean, that's first things first. You stop that, but you make this quarterback remotely throw, and they better just tee off on him. Off on him.
Well, if we get up early, they won't have a choice. They're going to have to throw the ball.
I think everything you're going to see from Dallas is you're going to see screens. You're going to see those quick outs. So I don't want to see our D-backs sitting 10 yards off of these guys and them just catching these little because I think that's all they're going to be able to do. And I don't think they're going to be able to pass down the field unless This dude comes in and he's like Kurt Warner, and then I just sit back and I go, here we go.
I don't think I don't think it's gonna be a Disney movie this week. I think you're gonna be okay. So who's your defensive player of the game?
My defensive player of the game, I think, because they're going to be running the ball a ton. I'm going to say number 41, Patrick Spillane.
Oh, Spillane, the Spillane train.
Mm-hmm.
He's mighty. He's gonna have a good game.
I think he's going to have like 10 tackles. He's
of
gonna,
course he'll have 10.
He's going to have one of those stat stuffing games. You're going to be going like, this magic carpet ride can't continue.
He's been playing great ball.
He has.
I think this week it's going to be Tuitt. I think Tuitt's going to take everything over.
Ever since I've been said Tuitt hasn't done anything all year, he has been like Godzilla out there.
He has been. He's been amazing.
I think
Tuitt's
murdering people.
Yeah, and I think we'll see. I think Dallas is going to turn the ball over 4 times.
I hope so. I mean,
I'm gonna say 3 picks and a fumble. Maybe all from the maybe 2 and 2, but all from the QB position.
And he,
I think he's gonna lose heart early.
You know, and the fumbleitis is in Zeke's head, man. I mean, my thing is, do you think the defense is going to score at all?
I would say they got 1 pick 6 in them.
I could see that.
Yeah, 1 pick 6, but it'll come from either like it'll be Nelson or it'll be like maybe Joe Hayden.
Now, you know what probably happened? We'll probably be up 20-something points, and Edmonds will get a pick 6, and everybody will think Edmonds is good. And I'll be like, that's like the dude coming off the bench when you're in basketball and you're up by 40 points, and he's like the one that's like not on scholarship in basketball, and the whole crowd's cheering for him, and he makes a deuce. That's what it's like.
It might be. So Tim, here is the moment of truth. What is your predicted final score of the game this week?
Okay. We've been back and forth. I've been listening to what you've been saying, and you're very convincing that this should be just to roll the ball out there and Steelers should win by 100. That being said, I don't think this is going to be the Tomlin special game, but I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think it is. I think this is going to be like a 21-13 game, 21-10 game. People are going to be questioning after this game, are the Steelers that good? Because Dallas played them that tight.
Okay. So what's your number?
We'll say 21-10.
21-10. Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be 21-10, but it's not going to be that seems like a pretty wide margin score. It's going to be a lot closer than 21-10. The game, that feel. I think the Steelers are going to put something away very late to make it 21-10.
Okay. I'm going to go a little different direction. I think the Steelers are going to win. I think it's going to be a 31-3. Maybe 10. We're going to put up 31. I'm going to say 31-3. They may get 2 field goals. They're that bad. Their offense is that bad. I mean, I think they're a dumpster fire, and they've played nobody. I mean, you know, they've been bouncing around like a pinball machine in their terrible division.
They got 2 wins. I mean, they did beat who they beat.
Those were, I believe, those were Dak wins.
Yeah,
Dak's
right.
Gone. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
That's when they could put up 30 points in a game. They can't do that now. They couldn't put up 30 points in a game if they were playing on a bye week to nobody. They just couldn't do it.
Can't you just hear it now, 10 years from now? 30 for 30. This guy from the XFL comes out of nowhere. He was bagging groceries the week before, and he comes back and he tears the Steelers up for 300 yards.
I don't see that happening this week. I think this is a good week for the Steelers. We don't have any buys, but this will give us a little bit of a breath, which is good.
Tomlin's special's coming. That animal is coming.
See, here's the difference, though. I think it's interesting is, so they've got other things on the line now too. I mean, and I know that there's not a lot of people talking about it, but they're 7-0. So, I mean, if you're a defense, and let's say you're in the last part of a game and you're up 31-0, and they're marching on the 20 coming in with a minute left. That defense stays stout for what? Because they want to keep the goose egg. They want to preserve the goose egg. I think the Steelers,
and that's when Edmonds is going to have a pick off and have a pick six when they're up 31-3, and everybody's be like, Edmonds had a great game. But like, no, the dude stinks. I'm like, somehow they'll sneak Uncle Rico into the game, even though he's not dressing. Edmonds will pick.
I think the Steelers, as they look at their schedule, they actually, the thoughts going through their head, we can almost all these last games are winnable. And you got a chance to take part in history.
They're thinking there's going to be a Mike Tomlin special too.
There's something different this year. I don't know. I think it's just interesting. I'm impressed with them.
Here's a hypothetical question for you. Hypothetical. Say the COVID crock pot catches on fire, and the NFL talks about doing what they propose. Maybe you have a 16-team playoff. Steelers are 10-0. This happens at 10-0. Steelers go ahead and they run the table 10-0, undefeated in that playoff bracket and win the Super Bowl. Do you still give them a consideration as the Dolphins?
Oh, absolutely. Because the Dolphins, when they played, how many games did they play? It was smaller than it. There wasn't 16 games. They won. Was it 12 games? 14? Yeah, it was 12 games. I think
12 games.
And then they won the Super. Yeah, 12 games. I think the season was 12 games, and then they won the playoffs. So they didn't play. They weren't undefeated in a 16-game season. So technically, I think a few years ago when the Patriots won 16 games, they won more than the 72 Dolphins.
I just keep thinking in my mind, if they say next week, again, they stop the season right there, and the Steelers run the table after that in the playoffs. Yeah. Are they considered the greatest team of all time?
In my heart, yes.
Fair point.
Undefeated season. I mean, it's undefeated. Now, again, fair point. I mean, so here's the question. Let's say, if the Patriots would have been undefeated and they won the Super Bowl, which they didn't, thank God. Tell me there's no God. There's a God that stopped that.
Yes.
Would they be on the same par as the 72 Dolphins, even though the Patriots won more games in their undefeated season? I don't think they are. I think they surpassed the Dolphins.
You got to win the ring. That's like saying that's the old Dan Marino conversation with all the other quarterbacks.
Got to have rings. Got to have rings. It's the Lord of the Rings. Got to have the rings. Mm-hmm. So I think we keep the mojo going. Again, this is going to be interesting. If we win this week, no Steeler team has ever been 8-0. None.
Mike Glennon.
No, but let me ask you now. Compare Mike Glennon to these two guys that we may see this week in Dallas. Who would you rather have?
Mike Glennon. I don't know. I haven't seen these dudes. Like, I saw Mike Glennon with my own eyes. I was there. I was in person. I was 20 rows from the field. Mike Glennon stinks. He was terrible. And he made two throws to guys. I don't even know. The Bears, they don't have receivers. He made two throws to guys I'd never heard of in my life. And I'm going, how did this happen?
But you got to remember this though. Now the Bears defense was a whole lot better than the Cowboys defense.
I don't know, man. That Bears team stunk, dude. Because I think it was the first year Mitch took over. Mitch took over for Glennon at one point in that season.
Yeah, but was their defense statistically last in the league?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't, Tim. We know that. It wasn't.
That Bears team was. They stunk. They stunk.
I get it. I think the Steelers are going to do well. I think we're going to be having our podcast next week, and we'll be sitting on 8-0, and we won't know how to act because no Steeler team has ever been 8-0.
I know, man. I got to figure something out with that hat. That thing is ripping my bald head to shreds.
Hey, don't change too much because now we're into, we do live in our fears, and Tim is into superstition. So if you change anything, that means your daughter has to have the same breakfast. You got to wear this. You got to wear the same shirt.
I have,
and I don't even know if you can alter that helmet.
Could I wear something underneath it?
I don't know. We'll have to do some research on that. I don't know.
I mean, there could be a new disease seeping into my head just from that metal from like 1970 that nobody knows about. I could be the starter could be right here.
That's right. That's right. Well, I did notice your head's getting bigger, so maybe it's, I don't know. It is. That Melissa's a lucky woman. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. Tim, anything else you'd like to add to the podcast today?
No, I mean, no. We'll save a Tim versus the world maybe for next week or maybe even after show. Because I don't, truthfully, if it is what it is you're saying, I don't think we're going to be talking about too much of this game afterwards. Going, unless it's pure comedy, which I might have, or if I'm in cardiac arrest at neck roll somehow rolled up on Ben.
Well, hope that doesn't happen. Well, again, I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother, Tim. We are the Yinzer Bros. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget to spread the word, spread the love, download us, watch us on the YouTube, download us on Spotify, Apple, wherever great podcasts are, you'll find us.
The one thing I will add,
Mm-hmm.
is it a coinky dink that ever since the Yinzer Brothers podcast has started, there has not been a loss on the Steelers record? I
Tim,
think not.
You bring up a great point.
I do.
I think we need to tweet that out to the Steelers, to everybody. They need to know that, hey, since we've been broadcasting, you guys have not lost a game. Perhaps, Tim, it has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin, Big Ben,
No,
Mika.
no.
Maybe we know it's not Barry. Maybe it's us.
I think it's 100% us.
Well, I think we need to pass that along. So when we do our tweets, again, spread the love, everybody. Again, we are the Yinzer Bros. Have a good night. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.